Hey everyone, welcome back to Satanix Reviews. Time for another quick review. However, this won't be on a movie or game. This will actually be on a cliche that a lot of people don't mind, but I personally despise. It's what I call the good guy who looks like the bad guy, while the bad guy looks like the good guy trope. This is when a character who obviously is doing bad just keeps getting rewarded, while the good guy is wrongfully punished for what the bad guy's doing. Either that or someone who's telling the truth is being scolded and no one believes them. Now, sometimes this can work, like, for example, these two episodes of My Life as a Teenage Robot, which, first of all, highly recommend that show. It might be my favorite Nicktoons show aside from Avatar. But secondly, there are these two episodes that actually do this trope well. The first episode is when the main character, Jenny, is getting suspicious of this man her mother's dating, and it's a funny episode because of how over the top he's portrayed, the guy that Jenny thinks is a bad guy. And not only that, but the whole twist about this guy is actually a pretty funny one. The other episode is a Christmas special that I watch every year, and the plot is Jenny, um, well, this isn't right away, but it happens like after the first third. Jenny wakes up and she finds that everyone she ever knew wants to like hunt down and destroy her. It's a pretty messed up episode, but it is focused on the action. And there actually is one character who believes in her despite everyone else thinking otherwise. And granted, you could argue like, wow, this guy's faith is like that good. You'll see the episode to see what I'm talking about. But also on top of that, the way the villain is revealed is pretty clever. The way he's shown that he's the bad guy to all the other characters is done pretty well. The other instances I feel like this worked are with Batman. I think I said this about Batman Returns, where I do buy the police would consider him a criminal. Another example is Mask of the Phantasm, where they had a similar subplot. In both cases, it's never resolved, so I think that's pretty clever. However, those are very rare. Some of the worst episodes that come to mind are Everyone Knows It's Bendy from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, A Pal for Gary from SpongeBob, and the original Full Metal Alchemist anime with that priest who kept on making all these miracles happen, and there's something suspicious about him. It turns out he's not making miracles, and yeah, I hate that. Those first two episodes. Uh, these are what drive me nuts because in these examples, they think it's either really funny or really complex, and it is neither. It's a lame excuse for conflict, and it always ends up with the accused being all like, you have to believe me. And when that sort of line is uttered, you've lost credibility with me. That just makes whatever I'm watching just so much less. Another example is this one Treehouse of Horror episode from The Simpsons, or this one segment where Bart sees this monster on the bus, and I get it, this is a parody of the Twilight Zone episode, but in that episode, it made sense. Shatner's overacting shows he's not mentally well and he has a fear of heights. So either answer is possible as to whether or not there is a monster on the plane, but in this one's case, the one where it's Bart on the bus, I don't get what the comedy is. Is it funny because no one believes him? Like that's not really all that funny. Now Invader Zim did this better because in every single episode of Invader Zim, no one believes Div because he's super obsessed with aliens and paranormal stuff that he's seen as a geek, including his sister. And not only that, the kids on the bus are just total dumbasses, and the way they're tricked is so funny. Like, oh, I'm gonna miss that dog. That dog is so cute. And it's like the same dog that they pass by over and over again. And so it's like, that's great. But when they treat it so seriously, or the comedy is just solely based on no one believes me, that's not funny. It's just sad and irritating. What I hate about this trope is that once it starts up, you're stuck with it. So they'll just keep on making all the characters oblivious to what's going on. And they're obviously not going to believe the good guy, and it's just constantly that hammered into the ground. Now, some people have defended that it's worth it just to see the bad guy exposed, but the payoff takes so long to get to, and it's usually too short, and they wait way too long for it. And especially if it's in a movie, it just really doesn't work, because then you're just waiting until the end for it. And not only that, when they're punished, the person who is being punished at the end, the one who is the bad guy, they usually never really go into how much they're punished, at least not to the extent that the good guy did, when the good guy didn't even deserve it to begin with. So if you hear me talking about this cliche, bear with me that it's a trope that I really despise. It takes up so much time, it's way too mean-spirited, and it's a little too real of a situation for me. I've had similar experiences. So for people to say it's funny or it's complex does make me feel like that interpretation of something that does seem a little too real for me, and I don't think is like something we should portray or whatever, I don't think that should be rewarded. Anyways, that was my rant on one of my least favorite tropes in anything. Thank you all for watching. Till then, everyone.